All right, all right. Camera looks like ass. Should be better than that. I wonder if there's some dirt or something in there. What's going on, everybody? So check it out. This is the first live episode of the channel, and actually, I want to say this may be like the first 1.1. I don't like the way this camera's looking. Let's see if it's dirty. Let's see if we can't clean that off a little bit. I know, right? Like, let's see if not a lot, but listen. All right, so this is the technically like 1.1 live episode because yesterday we went live as scheduled and things happened. So we're going to go over this so people can get the information because those that didn't make the live went to try to review it and all kinds of sorts of things like that. So let's go over some house rules. So all information that we're going to go over here is going to be informational purposes and educational purposes only. Okay. None of the things am I prescribing you. Why? Because trainers do not prescribe. We do not diagnose ailments, injuries, or any of that sorts. If you do have a trainer that's doing so, they're totally operating outside of what their statutes are supposed to be. We will, however, have basic general conversation. You will be able to ask me questions in the chat. Don't forget if things start to populate as we grow because I'm in the support. I am a certified personal trainer, but I am not your certified personal trainer per se. But if you would like for me to be your certified personal trainer, then you can go to www.thatguyhealth.com. I have fitness nutrition plans on there, training protocols, and the fitness app. I reserve one-on-one training for in-town clients only. Check that out, and then we'll go from there, okay? So if you at any time feel that you are about to be disrespectful to me or somebody in the chat, think twice about that. We do not want to be disrespectful to people. We do not want to have people think that this is not a place that they can actually come and talk to people like-minded of themselves and get some type of information out of that without leaving with hurt feelings that it's not productive, and nor will I stand for it. I will, if it gets too bad, block you. All right, simple as that. So getting that out of the way, what am I drinking on today? I am drinking on BCAAs, Core Nutritionals. This is going to be the next flavor that will be reviewed on the Have It or Pass playlist, and you can see that I have several of those things going on. So that is what I'm sipping on. That is usually what I'm drinking as an intra workout and sometime post workout for recovery. Let's go into today's topic. It is going to be macros and meal plan tips. I'm going to talk through pretty much the topic and the material that I have. If you have any questions, like I said, hit the super chat or hit the comments and we'll get to it. This to me, at most times, is macros don't matter. And that's totally untrue. Macros do matter, and they matter all the time. Macros completely matter. All right. And whether now there's a different thing altogether, whether you decide to pay attention to your macros or you don't. Okay. So if you choose not to pay attention to your macros, then that's you. That's okay. That could be totally true. But macros are going to matter whether you track them or not. Macros are going to fill up that caloric day, and whatever macros you have is going to be how your spectrum is. So if you're 80% fat, 10% carbs, 10% protein, those are your macros. You might not be paying attention to it, and you might feel like, okay, well, I stayed underneath a certain calorie. Okay, so you might be in a caloric deficit, but are you in a good deficit? All right, we all know there are good pros and cons to both anything that you have in life. Okay, you eat ice cream, it tastes great, it's high in fat, not the greatest thing for you on a consistent basis. So with that being said, to say that macros don't matter is comparable to saying that gas mileage doesn't matter. Gas mileage does matter. So whether you choose to pay attention to it because you have a big truck that runs on 8 miles a gallon, you're saying it doesn't matter to you, but it does, because it impacts you financially. It determines how far and how long you can stay on the road before you have to get off and get gas. And it's going to be the same thing with macros. It determines if you're high in fat, low in protein, high in carb. You're going to have a different makeup. You're going to have a different composition from somebody else who might have a more efficient macro ring is what I call them in our fitness app, because that's pretty much how the matrix is going to be displayed. Carbs. And I think honestly, This camera should be a lot better. We're going to have to find out why. Episode 2, I guarantee it's going to be crispier. All right. So I'm going to give you an example because I myself and I have clients do DEXA scan or 3D body scans. And when you get a DEXA scan, it is more in detail and in depth, literally into your body to decide and tell you what your makeup composition is, what your body fat percentage is, what your lean muscle is, what your bone definition, all of that. It is all very detailed information that could really help you to get my competition body scans, and where I send my clients to get 3D body scans or DEXA scans. She had a group that came in and basically they did a fat loss challenge. One of the ladies decided to pretty much starve herself, as a lot of people do, which is really not a great thing to do. I know people on these fasts, but it's not a great thing to do, and hopefully we can get into that later. But she decided to go ahead and starve herself. After starving herself, she comes back in for the DEXA scan, and true enough, she lost weight. But the DEXA scan had revealed her body fat had not went down much at all. It was her lean muscle mass that went down, and that is because of macronutrients and the lack of eating. Okay, your body will go catabolic. It will basically start feeding on itself, and that's pretty much what she put herself into. So that's where it goes back in that macros do matter. Okay, because you can prevent that by manipulating the macros to still lose weight, but having the body react to a certain way, which is another thing why I hate branded diets, because all this keto mysterious bull crap, and a lot of people do truly understand the dynamics behind keto, and then some people are misleading people and they're thinking, oh, you're reprogramming the body. You're not reprogramming the body. The body is going to run the way it is meant to run in all of us. Okay, the body's first primary source of energy is carbs. Secondary source is fat. And the last thing, at the most dire need, if it does need it, is going to be protein. That's the way it goes. So if you take away the carbs, it's going to look for fat and utilize that as energy. If the fat's not there, and there's a very horrible situation, if carbs and fat are not there, it's going to start eating on bone tissue, muscle tissue. All right. So you don't want that. That's a horrible situation. So with that being said, it's just, you have to be mindful of your intake and what is filling up that calorie, what is filling up that caloric, that daily caloric value that you have. It is important. Now, it is okay totally if you have a general idea at some point in time, if you have portion control, and we'll get into that, and you already kind of know. So that's why you don't bother with the calories, because you've already kind of been through it and you know about where you're going to be. But to be totally oblivious to what your macro intake is irresponsible in a way. All right. I mean, if you're happy with the way you look, I guess that's fine. But if you're not, and you're battling with this and you don't really see a big change, that's probably why. All right. So let's get into some daily tips that could help you. All right. And I want to welcome you. Oh, what's going on, Danny, brother? Appreciate you. Let's get into some daily tips that could help you try to combat some of the things. Okay. So one thing I go by is the 6 P's, right? All right, now the 6 P's to me are: proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. If you plan accordingly, you can perform a lot better. So that means trying to go out here and eat on the fly, and fat's already 20% of what it's supposed to be. So now you're trying to compensate for that throughout the rest of the day, and then you find yourself not being able to eat what you thought you were going to be eat. Then you decide not to eat because you get busy. All of that adds up to you having a very crappy day as far as your intake, which then will affect your energy levels, which then will affect your goals, whether you're trying to gain muscle or lose fat. You have to plan accordingly. So what I typically do is at night, before the morning before, I'm already at night doing a commercial, during me ironing clothes or me waiting for my wife to get out of the shower. I'm already kind of laying out what food I'm going to have. I cannot set your protocol, and I can't set my own. That's just horrible. That's called training from a tower. Like, you never out here in the battlefield with us. You just kind of trying to tell us what to do, but you never been through it. I've been through it. Trust that. So I'll set that, and then I know what I'm going into. I know what my values are supposed to be, and it's set. It takes off a lot of stress. It takes off a lot of uncertainties, and it puts you where you really want to be. So that's one thing. The 6 P's, stop eating on the fly, is another thing, and portion control. I understand some people might not want to be accustomed to using a scale all the time. Cool, I understand that. But enough of this, that's a cup of that. All of that, dang, here we go again with this Your connection is unstable. I'm hoping that this does not leave again, but trust me, I will definitely do this live again if it doesn't go right because I hate not getting things right. But have some type of portion control so that you can understand where you are as far as your calories. Most people get into something, they think they know what it is, and then you actually measure it up and realize you were 2 times over that. Okay, so let's get into this. Elaborate meal preps. I know they look pretty. I know Instagram and Twitter have lovely photos of multi-combination pepper. It's a setup. Okay. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying that if you haven't already been adhering to some type of minimal protocol, how are you going to go from 0 to 20,000 real quick? It's not going to happen. And if you do make that leap, it won't be fall soon before you fall back down. You have to take things incrementally and work your way up. I suggest pick you 2 meats for the week, a carb, a super green, and run it. And just change your meal prep every week instead of trying to have 5 different 6 variations within that week, because not only does that get time consuming, it consumes a lot more money. And that's when people actually get discouraged, when they say meal prepping and eating healthy is expensive. You make it expensive when you try to be all elaborate to try to compensate for the fact that you're eating a lot of junk. Real deal, all that other stuff that you were getting into was not helping you whatsoever. So stop trying to make it elaborate. It takes up too much of your time. It takes up too much of your finances, and it will discourage you in the end. The first episode too long. As we grow and people ask questions, we'll probably get into that. Pitfall foods is one, a salad. People talk about having these salads and that these salads are supposed to be so great, but then you go and screw the salad up. One, you're already using some type of iceberg lettuce instead of using spinach. Then the next thing you go, you pile a bunch of cheese in there. It's trying to make it all nice and hearty. Then you do the fried chicken instead of the grilled chicken. Then you go and you pile on some of your bacon bits. Now you go and pile on ranch, $1,000, and a bunch of other creamy condiments that are just going to take your calories and your fat through the roof. Page, and now you have this big to-go tray that's full of all this stuff just piled up. Yeah, it tastes good, but you just ruined your daily intake. You probably utilize the majority of your daily intake in that salad alone. That's a pitfall food that you get irresponsible with, and that you should try to do a lot better with it. For proper meal prep to taste good as you transition from bad diet, yes, it is. It is realistic. Seasonings are okay. So like seasoning salts to a degree, roasted garlic and herb, using seasoning and herbs to spice up and flavor your meat is totally fine. You need a bit of that sodium, especially if you're going to be working out and sweating a lot. That sodium helps. You look at a lot of sports drink, they're going to have sodium in it. You need that replacement. So using seasoning and herbs is cool. It's when you get into like using Alfredo sauces that are heavy with dairy, those type of things that when you're trying to overcompensate that way is what's going to land you in a situation that's going to take your fat or your carbs up. Using seasoning salt, stuff like that, that's going to put you in a better situation. And that brings me back to the salads. Using vinaigrettes, balsamics, a better situation. There are certain salad dressings out there that will allow you, and stick to the portions. More than likely it's 2 tablespoons and you all are putting on half a cup. What's wrong? No fried, no, I'm not saying you can't have the fried chicken. Try air fryer. I mean, an air fryer is probably a little bit better than the dip fried chicken. Try an air fryer. Air fryers are working great these days. Air fryers are doing. I got a son in D1. We got a son in D1 football. He loves his air fryer. That's a better option. Sometimes we have to just grab hold of the fact that to do better than not. Do better than not. But seared chicken breast, man, you can't. I'm telling you, seared chicken breast be on point. Very bad. I appreciate you. So seared chicken breast, try that. And a lot of times people want to try to switch in and sub in salmon. Salmon's cool, but you do have to understand salmon is higher in fat than chicken breast. Chicken thighs and legs are higher in fat than a regular chicken breast. So those options matter. Another pitfall food is a damn taco, a burrito. Which air fryer do you use? I think we have the Nutra air fryer, the big one. It's about yay big, so we use that one, and it works awesome. It works awesome. Now I get a lot of my stuff, the white pan sears that puts it in the oven and bakes it. So usually it's a lot faster. The air fryer can run a little bit more time, but the food does taste good coming out of there. It does have a grease drain where if any grease is coming out or any melted fat that is coming out of that meat will drain out to the bottom instead of being retained in that container. So that's a good ass option. You can get them. Definitely, there are some stores like As Seen on TV. If you can find one of those stores, they have great deals on the air fryers at a discounted rate. Same brand, everything, just discounted rate. So another pitfall, burritos. You get a burrito, you start out trying to be extra great with the spinach wrap. Cool, you went spinach instead of just the regular corn tortilla. But then you went and put the damn baked beans in there. You put the damn steak in there, which is cool depending on the percentage of lean to fat. You know, I typically like to use 97.3, and I bet you Chipotle not using 97.3 steak. Pretty sure of it. But then you put the cheese in there. Now you just took that spinach wrap burrito and you screwed it up. That's another pitfall food. And I'm gonna tell you a real good common one is put peanut butter and crackers. I bet majority of you all say a tablespoon. You go and look at how much peanut butter you've been piling on crackers. I guarantee you 10 tablespoons over. Look at the serving size on the back of peanut butter for 2 tablespoons and look at that fat. Now multiply that times whatever you've been using. Matter of fact, I tell you what you could do. Just go eat peanut butter and crackers. Then get you a tablespoon measure and see how much that is. I might even make that an episode. I might make that an episode, and a perfect person to try that on is my wife. And I might do a salad episode too. I just got an episode idea. We're probably gonna run that. But listen, why 97.3? 97.3 is that's because it's the leaner meat. So what the 97 stands for is the leanness of the meat, and the 3 is going to be the fat in the meat. So 97.3 is going to be leaner. So as you go down to like 80-10, 75-25, you're losing more of that lean value and you're getting more fat in there. Now, it's not to say you can't use it, but it's to say it's not going to leave you much room if you say want a snack that might lead in fat. Had you took better precautions in an area that probably won't matter to you because it's going to be seasoned up with herbs, you can save yourself for that midday snack that you think you want that might be a little higher in fat, but still fit within your macro goals and your calorie goals. So I'm always a component of using the leanest source of meat that I can, because I don't want to waste in that area when I want something to try to shave off that edge, especially when I'm going into prep. But when I'm in cut, in peak week, it's got to go. I'm telling you, the 2 days before show, I'm loving it because I'm rice caking it and peanut buttering it up. Believe it. So that's why you would use 97.3 as the leaner. So 97 plus the 3 will give you 100% of that meat's composition. That is a very good question, by the way. Most people would just go right over that. Then they go to the store and grab that meat. They think they're doing good, and it's like 80-20. So listen, we're not going to stay on here too long. That's pretty much it. Remember, if you need online coaching, I can coach you anywhere through my fitness app. You can go to www.thatguyhealth.com, purchase one of those plans. I will get back with you. Verbal consult. We'll get you the paperwork, get you signed up, and get you on your way, like I have many other clients and myself. I'm going to figure out what's up with this camera. I actually may have like gorilla fisted it, and that's why it's a little blurry, but hopefully the audio is good, and evidently it's good because we got Bro here and he's asking questions, and I definitely appreciate that. And let me tell you something. Everybody who showed up, I'm very appreciative. I promise you I will grow and get better at these lives as we grow. Just remember to come back, subscribe, hit like, and if you don't like or think I could do something better, hit the dislike, but please leave me a comment of some constructive criticism so that I can make the channel and the information better for you, because I'm really here for you all. The channel's here for you all, and I try to put as much content out to help you all with your progress. So first thing I'm going to work on when I get out of here is this camera. Next thing I'm going to work on is looking at any likes, dislikes, or comments that you have, and I'm going to keep improving from there. We're going to grow as a community, all right? So with that being said, if you haven't watched any of my videos, go watch them, because I always say, be safe, let's build together, and peace. See you next time.